And Miss Ramey, who was the teacher, came to the door and she was like, okay, a friend like me, it's time to go. And I totally froze. Well, I think that's one of the reasons why people don't push is because exactly what you said. Well, there's a little resistance.
Yeah.
But guess what? I'm going to be there right on the side and I got a life vest.
Yeah.
So if something happens, I'm there. Like as a leader, we have to be willing to both shove someone in with love.
With love.
And then be willing to be there to support them when they need it.
So start from a place of care.
Yep.
And be there to support them.
Yeah.
I would also add knowing what it is that they care about.
True or false? According to a survey in August of 2021, over half of Americans cannot do 10 consecutive push-ups.
True.
You are correct.
Yes. I'm reclaiming my streak.
Untrue, false. Yeah, most people cannot do 10 straight push-ups.
Can you do 10 straight push-ups?
I can do 10 straight push-ups.
I'm not going to ask you to prove it.
You can do 10 straight push-ups, too.
I can do 10 straight push-ups.
Well, that's our topic today. We're talking about don't be afraid to push someone. So welcome to another episode of Hey, Don't Do That, where we explore the little things nobody tells you that have really big impacts on your motivation, effectiveness, and success. My name is Liz.
My name is Tree.
And the reason we are talking about this topic today, so I went way back.
Oh, how far back?
To when I was 8 years old.
Way back. Okay.
Way back. And I did acro. Do you know what acro is? It's like tumbling. It's kind of like gymnastics.
It's part of gymnastics, right?
Yeah, it's part of gymnastics.
Yeah.
So I was in an acro class, and at the end of the year, you get to do a dance recital.
Okay.
So we were doing this little number called Friend Like Me from Aladdin. Did you ever watch that movie?
I don't recognize that song.
Okay, well, I'm not going to sing it.
I know A Whole New World.
It's from the movie. Okay, you can Google A Friend Like Me. And so we got these like super cool Jasmine costumes, and I got to wear makeup, and my mom got to do my hair.
Okay.
And I remember being at the dress rehearsal, and this was the first time I'd ever really been on a stage. And I was in the dress rehearsal, and I'm running around with all my friends. And Miss Ramey, who was the teacher, came to the door, and she was like, okay, a friend like me, it's time to go. And I totally froze. And I was like, I don't want to go out on the stage.
Yeah.
And, you know, my mom's like, Elizabeth, go, 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 go. So I didn't move. Miss Ramey came and took my hand. She brought me to the front of the line, and she holds my hand as we're walking backstage. And, like, my walk got slower and slower. And she's, like, pulling and pulling.
Yeah.
And by the time we got backstage, I was crying.
Aww.
I mean, my poor mascara was, like, running. I mean, I was crying. I'm like, Miss Ramey, I can't do this. I don't want to do this. And she's like, you're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. And I kept saying, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. And I remember her picking me up, and she put me on. There was a mirror backstage, like one of those, when you think of like Broadway backstage, you know, like with the lights around the mirror. And she sat me on one of these mirrors, and she looked at me and she said, Elizabeth, you have to go out there. You have to go out there. If you don't go out there, nobody else knows what they're doing. They watch you. You have to go. And I still told her, I don't want to go out there. I can't do it. I didn't want to do it. I was firmly convinced.
Yeah.
And so she said, well, how about this? She said, I'm going to give you my jacket. And you have to go out there. And you don't have to do the tumbling parts.
Okay.
But you have to go out there and you have to do the dance parts. And I said, but I don't have to tumble. She said, no. So I said, okay, fine. Now, mind you, Tree, this was the dress rehearsal. So there's nobody in the audience.
Oh,
there's literally nobody even in the audience. No, there's nobody even in the audience, but I was so petrified to get up on the stage. But so I said, okay, so I put on this jacket and I went out there. You know, I'm still like half crying. I'm half doing the dance moves. I have this like adult-sized jacket on. But I got off the stage and I came over.
That picture.
It was.
Do you have?
It was.
Okay.
It was
you probably don't have
probably
the video of you dancing.
No,
right? Okay.
not in the dress rehearsal. But I probably looked very pathetic. And I got off the stage and I looked to Miss Ramey and I said, oh my God, that was so fun. Can I do it again?
Oh.
And so then the next night, I got up on stage when there were real people in the audience, and I didn't need the jacket, and I did it.
Oh.
And it was like this beautiful, I was reflecting on it recently, and it was just this beautiful reminder to me. Like, I'm so grateful now for Miss Remy for pushing me and for not just letting me off the hook. And so many times people will come up with these reasons why they can't do something, and they're not going to do things. And I just want to say, like, don't be afraid to push.
Yeah. Miss Remy?
Yeah, Miss Remy. Aww. She was my acro teacher.
That's awesome.
It was like a really important lesson.
Yeah.
And I've seen it, several times since then where it's like people don't push, and I'm like, that's how we grow. Like, we have to push people. We can't be afraid to push.
And you're pushing us right now on the team. So we're doing something called an innovation project where we're putting into groups. And you're pushing us right now because there's growing pains. Someone's like, this is uncomfortable. I don't know what I'm doing. My group is not moving as well. And I'm sure we're going to be like the AUOU at the end. We're like, we're so glad we did this. Because think about the impact and how much, and just help everybody on the team. But as you're going through it, there's going to be resistance. And at the end, we realize, my God, we're so glad we did it. And now you do public speaking for a living. I know, 8-year-old me backstage would have never thought.
Well, I think that's one of the reasons why people don't push is because exactly what you said. Well, there's a little resistance.
Yeah.
And there might be growing pains. And so sometimes it's easier to just stay status quo.
Yes.
And so we say, okay, I'm not going to push. I'm not going to push the envelope. I'm not going to push people on my team, or I'm not going to push my friends or my coworkers because it's just easier if I don't have to deal with that.
Yeah. And the person we're pushing could be angry at us, or they resist, and we feel like, oh my God, I offended this person. I'm afraid I'm going to hurt my relationship with that person.
I'm thinking of personality styles. Right? We use DISC personality styles a lot. High I's. Okay, high I's are people who are very outgoing, optimistic people. Their biggest fear?
Not being liked.
Not being liked. And so if I push, oh my gosh, what if you don't like me anymore? And so sometimes it's like just because of our personality, it might lend us more to not pushing. When maybe we should do a little more tender nudges.
You're really good at doing that. Hey, like, I would get emails from time to time from you, and you're like, hey, check out this opportunity. Hey, do this. And then I'm like, gosh, if I say no, what am I gonna tell Liz? Because I always remember you saying, comfort zone is where a dream goes to die. And I'm like, every time you push me, I'm like, like, do I want my dreams to die? I don't want my dreams to die. So I gotta push myself.
Well, okay, so as leaders, right, sometimes we say, well, it's easier if I don't push. It's my personality. I want people to like me, so I'm not going to push.
See, right there, you're making it about you. And Miss Remy wasn't making it about her. She was making it about you.
You're right. So I guess when we push people, it has to be not for something selfish that we want. It has to be, like, we have to push them because it's good for them.
Yes.
And their growth and what they want, not just what we want.
Yeah.
You just gave me a little aha moment, Tree.
Yeah. Because, like, we talk about being visionary all the time. Visionary is inherently something that person don't see in themselves already. So you're helping them see that vision. They might resist because they don't see it. So as a leader, one of your roles is to show them and then encourage them, push them towards that vision that sometimes they don't even see it themselves.
Yeah. Right? Okay, so I'm curious on your thoughts. What happens if we never push? Like, if a leader doesn't push, and I don't even just mean a leader pushing their team, but maybe even in our personal relationships or with our peers.
Yeah.
Like, what can happen if we don't push?
So I think about like by then you just become a cheerleader. You're not really a coach. You're not really somebody that people want to follow. You're just there for, to say, okay, if you don't want to do it, that's all right. I'm here for you. Mm-hmm. You're really not helping that person grow. And sometimes you can be that person, not all the time. Like to be a true friend where I know this is the direction that my friend is going towards. And like if you really care about that person and you know that's not the direction that they want to go down or that you think they should go down, you gotta speak up. You can't just be the cheerleader all the time. Mm-hmm. And in your personal relationship, I think one of the best way to push is to role model that, is to show that you are pushing yourself as well. Because sometimes by just telling somebody to do something different, they would resist. But when we role model that we are comfortable pushing ourselves, then our partner, our friends would see that and they're willing to do it because they've seen us doing it.
And it can be scary, I think, because it's like, well, what if I do this and I fail, right? Or it doesn't work out. So I'd rather not push and look good than push myself and potentially have it not work out.
Mm-hmm. Yes. There's an element of fear in there.
Yeah, and when we as leaders or as partners or peers or whoever it is, when we can show some of that, it's almost like two, it's like an oxymoron or like two juxtaposing ideas, right? It takes some boldness and some courage to push, and it takes a little vulnerability and humility to push. Because what if it doesn't work?
Right.
And it might not.
It might not. And it's in how you respond to like those failure. Okay, so I try and it doesn't work. Then what? Then that's really when you realize it's okay. You this too shall pass. And then you move on. You won't realize what you're missing out unless you try and push both yourself and the people around you.
So when I think of how do you as a leader push someone? For me, there's a couple key things that come to mind. One is it has to come from the positive, right? Yeah. If we just push someone and say, you have to go do this because you're not doing enough of this, or this isn't working and you're struggling, we have to push from a place of love.
Yes.
And from a place of, you're ready for this. This is something that's going to challenge you. This is going to help your team. This is going to help the department.
Yeah.
But I think when we push, it has to come from a place of love and from a place of care.
Yes.
Not from a place of like negativity. Another key thing I think of when we're pushing someone is we also have to give some grace, right? We have to give grace and we have to be there as support. What we don't want to do as a leader is throw someone in the deep end and then like walk away, right? And say, good luck swimming.
Good luck, yep.
Right? We want to say, listen,
swimming.
we are going to push you into the deep end, but guess what? I'm going to be there right on the side and I got a life vest.
Yeah.
So if something happens, I'm there. Like as a leader, we have to be willing to both shove someone in with love.
With love.
And then be willing to be there to support them when they need it.
So start from a place of care.
Yep.
And be there to support them.
Yeah.
I would also add knowing what it is that they care about. Right? We gotta know what their goals are. So then we would kind of see, okay, are you moving down that direction or not? I'm gonna encourage you to go down this direction because I know that's what you want. There's an element of fear in there that's preventing you from going there or from achieving that. And I know you can do it, coming from a place of care, because I know that's where Tree wants to head. And then I'll be there to support you. Yeah.
I think of a model that we can use when we're pushing people. It's called I do, we do, you do.
Ah.
Right? So sometimes I think our business is a perfect example. Tree just became a senior trainer, by the way. So if you want, shout out to Tree. Give him some love because he's now a senior trainer at Dale Carnegie. But when you started in the business, right, we're not going to just say, oh, Tree, we're going to push you into the front of the room. Good luck. First, it's like, I'm going to do it. You get to sit and observe. Yeah. You get to watch somebody else do that. And then we say, okay, that's I do. Now we do it together. Right? And that doesn't mean it's totally comfortable. We're still pushing you.
Yeah.
But you feel a little more safe. And then finally, it's like, okay, now you do. You're ready for this. And there's probably so many things when we're pushing someone, if we just use that framework, I do, we do, you do.
Yes.
Right? Watch me do it.
Yeah.
See some examples. Then let's do this together. Okay, you're ready. And then we have to be willing to push.
I do, we do, you do.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's like a simple little model that we can use.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the reason why as a leader we want to push people? Like what's in it for us? Now we get to be selfish. Why should we push?
Well, when we think about, we always talk about we want people to perform at a high level. We want innovation. We want engagement. When people are challenged in a positive direction, they are engaged.
Yeah.
Right? When Tree grows his capacity, he's going to help the team at Dale Carnegie. So when your team members grow in their ability to do things, they feel less stressed because now they feel more capable. And it's going to impact the entire team. Like they bring more value to the business. Yeah. So those are the reasons I can think of.
I even just think of attitude. I mean, how many times do you lead events with companies, or I lead events with companies where we push people to expand their comfort zones. We push them to try new things. Yeah. And then at the end, we will hear people say, I didn't want to do that. This was uncomfortable for me. I didn't want to be here. And I'm so thankful that I was. I'm so glad I took that chance. I'm so thankful that I got to meet these people or learn these skills.
Yeah. And it just happened today too.
Did it?
Yeah, it was awesome.
It's like a beautiful thing can happen, not just for the person who pushed, but even for the person who was pushed, because they learn and they grow and they see things about themselves they didn't even see before.
Yeah, and I think it's worth reiterating what you mentioned earlier is the mindset of one, it's not about me, and two, comes from a place of love. Right? Like, and I'll be there with you. I know you can do it. And it's not about me. It's like, I want to help you grow.
Yeah. Yeah. Be the lifeguard. Push him in the pool. And then be the lifeguard who's there with a smile on your face.
You're pushing me in the pool right now with trivia, probably.
I am going to push you in the pool a little bit with trivia. I am
a lot of time I get just thrown in the deep end, and I usually sink with the trivia.
No, you never sink, but it does push you. It does push you because we only have about 30 seconds to answer 5 questions. All right, I will start the time after I read the first question. Okay. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Which Chicago Bulls NBA star was revered by his teammates for challenging people when they didn't want to be challenged so they could go out and win at any cost?
I have no idea. Chicago Bulls.
Okay, what do you call a substance that causes a chemical reaction to happen more quickly?
A catalyst?
Yes.
Oh!
What artist released the song Push It in 1986?
1986? I wasn't even born. I don't know.
Okay, Samuel L. Jackson starred in what movie based on a true story of a basketball coach at Richmond High School?
Oh, is it something Robinson?
No. Okay, with an iconic halo of hair, who is the fitness icon from the 80s who produced videos called Sweatin' to the Oldies?
I have no idea.
All right, Tree. We might have talked about your trivia game here.
I totally sunk that.
I totally thought you were going to get the first one. Chicago Bulls. He's like the most famous basketball player of all time. Michael Jordan?
I had a little brain fart there. I was thinking of baseball.
Oh my god!
Chicago Bulls.
I was like, please tell me you've heard of Michael Jordan.
See, that's how much I know about sports and basketball.
Michael Jordan would challenge people when they didn't want to be challenged so they could win at all costs. A catalyst. Look at you, Mr. Chemistry over here. The song...
Yeah, I did terrible in chemistry in high school. The
song Push It is by Salt and Pepper.
Salt and Pepper.
You know the song, don't you?
How does it go?
I don't... You know I don't like singing. It's like... Push it. Push it good. You know that song? That was not a good example.
She doesn't like singing, and then the moment you challenge her, she just starts.
That was not really singing, let's be honest.
Okay.
Samuel L. Jackson, it's a movie called Coach Carter. Have you ever seen it? It's so good.
Coach Carter.
You go, Rich what? Richmond. Rich what? Richmond. It's like this awesome basketball team. Okay, and then the man who produced Sweatin' to the Oldies, Richard Simmons.
With his
short shorts and beautiful hair.
I can visualize him.
Now you got him.
Yeah, Richard Simmons.
Yeah.
By the way, do we have that video of the 8-year-old you?
No, we don't. My mom probably has the video of like the actual performance, but she didn't really think to record the dress rehearsal.
Okay.
But I do think she has that one.
Okay.
So as we leave today, it doesn't matter whether you have a dance recital coming up, you're working on a team innovation project, or you're trying to help someone grow in their career. Don't be afraid to push them. You and them will grow.
Absolutely.
We'll see you next time on another episode of Hey, Don't Do That. Bye, everybody.
Scene.
I love doing these.
It's so fun.